Welcome into this most majestic and ceremonial of evenings, where we are set on course to discuss the top 14 graduating class of Hollow Knight. You guys know what I mean, right? Those end of year, yearbook type superlatives like best personality or most likely to become president type shit. Yeah, we're going to be going through 14 different categories and assigning both a character and a runner-up to each category. So that's a total of 28 different NPCs that we will showcase today as part of the graduating class of Hollow Knight. Also, I have made a deal not to choose the same character more than once, unless it's a combo category, but stay tuned, you'll see what I mean soon. I thought this would make an interesting video, and I'd be very excited for you to leave me your answers on which characters you think fit into these designations, and who your runner-ups might be. So, without further ado, let's dive in. I figured we would start off with an easy and one of the most cliche categories of Best Dressed. Now, while it's hard to argue that Salubra's necklace and headpiece ain't hittin', for me, she doesn't even come close to my selection for this one. For me, the runner-up of this category has to be Marissa, the spirit of the singing songstress. It might not be fair to include her pink wings as part of her outfit, but damn it, I'm doing it. That's a dope looking bug. Probably a reason why I'm digging the initial design of Trobio so much in Silksong. And for the winner of the Best Dressed, I'm gonna take a different approach and go with the Golden Husk. I just love the radiant golden shine, and he really does look different than all of the other bugs in Hollow Knight. That's one shiny boy, and your fucking boy is here for it. So anyway, next category. Who is the thickest bug in Hollow Knight? That's right, this is the second category, but don't look at me, I didn't come up with the list. Apparently the cartographer coordinated this, and something tells me he's being a little biased by making this a question. We all know damn well Izelda is in the S tier slot for this one. Cornifer may be biased by making us choose this category, but that's a thick ass bug, so if the shoe fits, then wear it. And for the A tier position, that bench warmer spot, I gotta hand it over to Bretta. That's also definitely one plump ass bug. Moving on to the best voice in the graduating class of Hollow Knight. My top two selections for this one are neck and neck, but I have to give the runner-up spot to my main man Cornifer. The classic humming recorded by William Pellin to signify Cornifer's location throughout Hallownest is iconic enough alone to earn a top spot on the list. And for the winner of best voice, for me personally, it has to be the Dung Defender. Once again, Pellin crushed it with his performance, and that laughter he does just oozes so much personality. Now, who would win the top spot for best storyteller? There are tons of nuggets of lore and dialogue dropped throughout the game by a lot of different characters, but for the second to top spot, I have to hand it to Bardoon over in Kingdom's Edge. He's full of valuable gems, and he fills in a lot about the worm that we didn't know. But for the winner of the best storyteller, for me, it has to be the one who gives us a lot of insight into the lore about the Radiants, and that would be Seer. Seer is one of my favorite character designs in the game, both visually and vocally. Seer takes the cake for best storyteller for me. Now for the most artistic in the game, I think it's quite obvious that for me, I have to hand the crown over to Sheo. For God's sakes, man, his name is the Paint Master, and his pantheon is called the Pantheon of the Artist, so I think he kinda wins by default. So then that begs the question of who I would hand the runner-up position to. Now while I'm inclined to give an honorable mention to the Dung Defender's shit sculpting skills, I did make a vow not to pick an NPC for more than one category. So with that in mind, the runner-up for me will be the Mask Maker. Boy is also slinging paint like Sheo and equally honing his art and craft skills. Now who do you guys think would take the A tier and S tier positions for the biggest prankster? That's a weird one, right? Any cunning or conniving bugs that come to mind for you? For me, it's a little bit tough, but I'm inclined to give the backup spot to the Collector. He's got the really odd obsession of collecting the grubs and trapping them in glass jars first of all, but then also playing tricks with false grubs in jars to attack unsuspecting travelers. Just kind of a weird dude. And the S tier prankster for me has to be Millabelle the Banker. If you've made it this far into the game, then you know why, but if you haven't, Save your money, boys. Hard times are coming. Now, the hardest working category is up next, and there are a lot of really hard working bugs in this game if you think about it. I mean, all of the mindless soldiers in the City of Tears endlessly bound to their duties come to mind for starters, but when I sat down and thought of my choices for this one, I decided to give a tip of the cap to the sweet bug Mila, just mining away and working tirelessly for those precious pink crystals. We all love you, Mila. And I know what you may be thinking. Who the hell do you think you are not putting Mila in first place? Well, just hear me out, okay? My first round draft pick for the hardest working bug in Hollow Knight has got to be the Mender bug. Yeah, that's right. You're not talking so much hot shit anymore about Mila not being in first place, are ya? This dude literally fixes every single thing. Everything. I rest my case. Mender bug for the win. Now here's a random one. Who do you think would win the biggest appetite award? My A tier bug for this one is gonna be Divine. Her affinity to those yummy charms lands her on my backup spot for the biggest appetite. And you may not see this one coming, but my winner for the biggest appetite in Hollow Knight goes to Confessor Gigi, slamming down those rancid eggs like she's in an eating competition. Who else in Hallownest is fucking with that palette? Let me know below. And for the category of the most confident, in a game full of bosses as difficult as Hollow Knight's, there's no shortage of confident bugs proficient in wielding a nail to cut down any challengers. So obviously your choices may vary from mine, but for the runner-up position for most confident, I have to show my boy Thiccest some love. He's such an amazing character and is a badass in his own right, and he did not deserve to go out by getting suffocated inside of the asshole of a brooding Moloch. Even though he had an abrupt ending, he was a confident ass bug. And so, who's more confident than Thiccest, you might ask? Personally, I have to go with Zoe. And I'm sure a lot of you will agree. I mean, let's be honest, this dude has Vegeta level arrogance and confidence in himself despite lacking the prowess to actually back it up. Despite having a nail made of shell wood and basically being defenseless in game, his confidence never cracks. You gotta at least respect that about the guy. Now this is a curveball category, but we're going to discuss which two bugs are most likely to grow old alone. Depressing, I know. Those who have lived lives that have deposited them into such situations as to be ostracized from the rest of the residents. I think the A tier would possibly be Oro. See, this is probably the one choice on this entire list that I'm like most on the fence about. Because I want to hold on to hope that Oro can still make amends with Matto and have some brotherly peace. But I'm leaning toward him growing old alone in the reaches of Kingdom's Edge. And so for the true S tier slot, since it's basically already occurred, I kinda have to give the chip to Eternal and Militia. She's already proven to have grown old alone, secluded in her confines while the rest of the city succumbed to the infection and lost their minds. For me, she's got this one in the bag. Now this is an interesting one. So far in this video, I haven't named any duplicate NPCs and I've kept my word by keeping each selection new and fresh. I also mentioned at the start of the video that we would have a combo category where you may end up seeing a repeat character or two. And that's because this category is the most unlikely couples. So the runner-up answer will contain 2 characters and the winning answer will contain 2 characters. Again, since this one is about couples. So, the runner-up answer for the most unlikely couple for me has to be Shayo and the Nailsmith. After sparing the Nailsmith from the pure nail death, he moves to Green Path to be with Shayo. I really did not see this one coming, but canonically confirmed by that happy couple achievement. So that's pretty dope. And as if that wasn't surprising enough, the winners for the most unlikely couple for me goes to Divine and the Leg Eater. I had beaten the game like 4 times before I ever learned that you could get the secret little scene of Divine having eaten the Leg Eater after we obtain all unbreakable charms and wear them while talking to the Leg Eater. If you do that, Leg Eater goes on to pursue his love and ultimately pays the price for it. Weird shit, Team Cherry. Now here is a cool one that I'd love to hear your opinion on. Who do you think has the biggest redemption story in the game? It can be anyone. I know some may say the Knight or maybe even the Hollow Knight, but I'm going to take a bit of an unconventional route myself. My runner-up for biggest redemption is going to be Brum becoming Nim after having the stones to sack up against Grim and banish the troop. He totally redeems himself of stopping the ritual and now lives a peaceful life in Dirtmouth. Pretty satisfying for the accordion-playing bug. And as for my true biggest redemption arc for a character, I once again have to pay homage to the soft spot in my heart that I have for Cloth. To see Cloth go from a timid and frightened bug to one eager to battle and assist the knight in defeating the traitor lord, ultimately giving her life up for ours, is such an incredibly noble and honorable redemption story worthy of the top spot in my book. Now, the most reliable is a category that pays ode to a couple of characters that are always there for you through thick and thin. No matter what happens in this wild world of Hollow Knight, you know you can always depend on them to have your back. My runner-up choice in this one is going to be our friendly elder bug in Dirtmouth. Always there, consistent, gently pointing you in the right direction throughout the game and offering a moment of respite on that hard iron bench. Dope bug. And because it only makes sense, the winner of the most reliable category for me would be the last stag, or the old stag, depending on what you want to call them. No matter the age, no matter how far, we can always rely on the old stag to come whenever we call. It's those consistencies that make him such a lovable character. And to end, we'll do so on a bit of a silly segment. This one is a nod to who has the best beard in Hollow Knight. Now, you might have to scratch your head to even think of any bugs at all in Hallownest who are bearded. I kind of did too. But for me, the second place best beard in Hollow Knight goes to the Relic Seeker Lim. You might be questioning whether that's actually a beard hanging from Lim's chin or not. I know you are, because I still am too. But I'm saying fuck it, and I'm saying that's a beard. So Lim, good job on the growth, buddy, and congrats on the runner-up. And as far as who is taking the W for best beard, I have to hand it to the fluffy locks of the Nailsmith. Probably the only bug that truly has a beard in Hollow Knight, unless I'm tripping and looking at our boy wrong and that's somehow not a beard. So anyways, as far as I'm concerned, that's a beastly beard. And so that's all she wrote for this video, guys. That was my top 14 graduating class of Hollow Knight. I really do hope you enjoyed, and I appreciate you taking the time to even watch. Again, please let me know below your answers to these questions. I think it's a fun little experiment to see who you might have in your top graduating class as well. Remember to subscribe if you dig the content, like it if you did, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.